It's time for Homegrown Country with Dylan on your country 95.5 WTVY.
All right, cool. We're back for another episode of Homegrown Country. Dakoda Rollins.
What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? Glad you could join us.
Yes, sir. It's a
All
pleasure
the
to be
way
here.
from the big city of Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, I know, right? The metropolis of Seminole territory. Yeah,
That's right.
that's wild.
Well, cool, man. So tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from originally? What? How long you been doing music? All that good stuff.
Well, I am a Texan by way of Tallahassee, so honorary Florida man, I guess, from being a native Texan. So North Texas specifically, a little town nobody's ever heard of, so I won't bother you with it. But yeah, no, man, I've been doing music for a long time. The inclination's always been there. Guitar lessons, and my dad was a musician and my mom was in the industry and all that stuff, so it was just kind of always around. So I just kind of soaked it up like a sponge and was like, I guess I'll do that too. But yeah, I've been recording for a while, but we've just really been hitting the ground running more so for about the past 3 to 5 years,
Right.
with a couple little breaks in between for some
Yeah.
personal stuff. But always talent shows, local coffee shop sets, that kind of stuff. Just
Right.
always kind of done it, but now we're really trying to get in there
Cool
and do
beans,
something
man.
with it.
So tell me a little bit about your writing style. How does a song normally come to you when you're trying to write music like that? Does it
So-
start with like lyrics or a melody first, or?
Usually lyrics,
Yeah.
usually a line.
Me too.
Usually I'll say something and I'll be like, well, that was kind of clever or catchy. I wonder if I could put some stuff around that and maybe work my way out to building a whole
Right.
song. But I, like me personally, and this is something I'm trying to work on with writing with other people, because I've never
Mhm.
done that until the past year or so. But I'm very big on like writing what I experience.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to just come up with a story.
Right.
It has to be based on something. So usually something happens and I just try to channel whatever the emotions of that experience were and be like, how can I make this as concise and catchy as
Yeah.
while also telling you the sentiment of it.
Right.
So, but yeah, usually just a line. Sometimes the music comes first, but it's usually the words for me.
That's
So,
cool. Yeah. I've had people ask me, like, when I first put out some of my first songs, people were like, oh, he can write music. I want him to write something for me.
mhm.
And I'm like, all right. So I tried to do it a couple of times. I actually did it for
Yeah.
for a lady, wrote a song for her to her husband.
Mm.
And it was tough. It was tough trying to like put myself in someone else's headspace to like write a song.
You're like, how do I
for-
feel about this, man?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm literally writing a love song to a man. Like it was kind of odd, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool nonetheless. I definitely know that there's people out there that are talented in that way and can absolutely just take themselves right out of their own shoes.
Yeah, people ask me all the time. They're like, hey, man, can you write a song for me? I'm like, I can help you clean up a line, but I don't know your experience. So,
Right. Yeah.
that's about
It
it.
would be hard for me to put the emotion into your story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Yeah.
guess, I don't know. I haven't really tried that, but really like twice, maybe. So maybe it's something I should try more. I don't know. I might be good at it. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it felt weird writing a love song to a man. That's for sure.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So have you, we talked earlier about band stuff and playing shows. Have you, you've gigged before?
I have gigged.
Yeah.
I have gigged. Yeah.
What's one like a memorable gig story that sticks out to you? Anything cool you ever bucket list stuff or?
Well, yeah, funny enough, when I was 16, actually, and this was kind of an unexpected gig. So my mom, God rest her soul, she was a publicist, and kind of worked with bigger artists that were maybe on the back end of their career.
Okay.
Her thing was like the underdog story, so she wanted to help people stay relevant that usually didn't get that.
Gotcha.
So she had, at the time, it was like Little Texas and Ricky Lynn Gregg, like some of those 90s cats that she was working with. And she gets a call from Tommy Cash and is like, hey, I heard good things from these guys. Would you mind, I need a publicist. Would you mind doing my stuff? And da-da-da-da. And so she's like, I'm going to pick up Johnny Cash's brother as a client. I'm like, that's pretty cool, and so we're hanging out one day. He mentions he has some gig somewhere in East Tennessee at like a blueberry festival or just something really obscure.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's like, I hear you play trumpet. And I was like, yeah, because I was in band at the time in high school, and he goes, could you learn Ring of Fire if we did Ring of Fire? Maybe learn a couple chords for some other songs. And I was like 16 going, Johnny Cash's brother is asking me to handle the trumpet work on Ring of Fire.
No pressure.
Yeah. I was sweating, man.
Yeah.
I was drip. But no, I accepted. So
There's
that
like
was
a whole famous trumpet line in that song too, isn't there?
Yeah. It's like that's how the song starts. It's basically 4 and it's you. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. So that was like my first like gig as a country music artist, I guess, doing trumpet for Johnny Cash's brother with John Con Lee about 3 rows over.
That's pretty cool.
So it was pretty interesting. So
that's wild, man.
But yeah, aside from that, it's just the normal. I'm lucky I haven't had any like bad experiences. I've had a couple people that were pretty intoxicated come up and say some stuff, and I just usually walk away.
Never got in a fight or anything like that.
I had somebody try, and I was like, I don't have the energy for that. Get home safe, dude.
I got hit in the back of the head with a fan one time while I was trying to load my trailer. That was dumb.
Jeez.
We won't get into that.
No, I mean, I've had like equipment go out.
Yeah.
Just like from the venue not taking care of their stuff, or like saying,
we've tripped a few.
Here's a cable we found in a back room. Use this, and it's like it doesn't even work. Or feedback. But other than that,
isn't that the worst when you show up to the venue and then they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna play right here," and then you're like, "Okay, where's the electricity?" And they're like, "Over there,
50 yards." Yeah. Don't move, or else it'll mess up everything.
Past all those customers, you're gonna have to run it right through here in the middle. I've been in some hairy situations sometimes.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about so you said you're from Texas. Did you play music and do stuff out there in Texas, or did this kind of start when
so this started actually more so, I guess I would have been a teenager, which wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it. So I was born in Texas, and when I was very young, my mom moved to Nashville.
Okay.
For a job. And so I kind of grew up just outside of Nashville.
Right.
Because she thought she was going to keep doing the PR thing, and then had a kid and was like, oh, well, and took a more kind of like consistent at home kind of a thing. But eventually got back into it. So that was where I think the bug really caught on. I think it would have happened regardless. But being that close to Music Row, I think, kind of picking up on that a little bit.
Living in Music City.
Or when you like
catch the bug,
you go to the airport, or like you go to a Taco Bell and there's just like a major label artist just chilling. Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it started there, and I was mostly doing stuff by ear. I had a couple guitars, and I was learning stuff by ear, writing songs, when I was in middle school, and then eventually asked for a way to enhance those skills. And he's like, we can do guitar lessons, and you can get in band and choir, and that'll kind of help you. And so I learned how to read music a little bit. And so that helped me build upon, I think, what was already there, basically. And since then it's been nonstop. It's That's like cool, the only thing I'm actually consistently passionate about.
Yeah.
So.
So what do you have a day job that you do?
I do.
Yeah. So what do you do for work?
I'm a termite guy.
Termite guy.
Yeah.
Right on. He's a bug man.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck yeah.
So
cool. My uncle, he's passed away a couple of years ago now, but he was one of the big wigs at Terminex for a while.
Okay.
So he was a bug man too.
Gotcha.
I like the bug man.
It's job security in this area.
Oh yeah, for real,
so,
bro.
Yeah.
We got the bugs, man.
Yeah, never gonna worry about going home early. Yeah.
They ain't going nowhere. You're never gonna win that war, dude.
No. Nope.
I don't know if you're going to work every day just trying, but they're always gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So have you ever thought about doing music full time, or trying to? I know I understand having a really secure job and then like taking the jump into music. Like I did that myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes it scares me, but what about you?
Yeah. I think I don't know if I have the, I'm sure if I like really gave it my all, like I saw this guy on TikTok not that long ago that was like, just dedicate a year to it and see what happens.
Right,
yeah. But for me, like also being a family man and having a kid, like I'm like, I don't want to risk the security of that,
right?
And being able to provide in that way. So I definitely pursue it very heavily. Like as soon as I'm clocked out, I'm usually either writing songs or emailing stations or reaching out to other musicians or, trying. So it feels like I'm doing it full time,
right?
Even though I'm not.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think I could ever make the leap, at least not around here.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
I will say that. Yeah. There's plenty of opportunity around here. The music scene's growing. It's changed a lot in the past, like I would say 5 or 6 years
Oh,
that
for
I've
sure.
that I've been around.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a I don't know. Everybody says they'll move to Nashville, you know, but then you move to Nashville and it's flooded.
No,
There's
you're
literally
gonna
everybody
be
up there trying to get
small
a gig.
fish, big pond.
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna, I'd rather
Yeah.
just kind of make some noise in an area where that's not
Right.
common instead of going up there and like you just blend in,
Yeah.
Because I like something my mom said, she's like, even like the worst musicians in Nashville are still like grade A,
They're really
top caliber
good.
musicians anywhere else. So
yeah,
if you ain't got it, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, 110%, buddy. Don't go to Nashville if you're not already A-listed.
Yeah,
where you're at.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's crazy. So you've got a new EP, right?
Yes.
Tell us about it. What's it called?
So it's called New South Volume 1.
Okay.
And for most people that know me, they know I'm a very traditional, twangy guy. No disrespect to the new breed, but I just I love my old school stuff. I got broken in with Charlie Pride and Gene Watson and Johnny Rodriguez and all that stuff. So I kind of have an affinity for that. But New South is kind of my introduction as an artist in the country space. And there's there's elements of traditional, but it's also got some more modern mixing and production. So I try to kind of, appeal to both lanes there.
Right.
So that just came out earlier this year. It's a 5-track EP. It's got a little bit of everything for everybody. So, if you like some Russell Dickerson stuff, you'll probably like what's on there. If you like, Morgan or Dwight Yoakam, you might like what's on there. So it's a little bit of everything. Chris Young kind of stuff. So just a big blend of some modern influences. And, but yeah, it's on all streaming platforms, and there's a few tracks that have been doing quite well. And, I think I've been lucky enough to get on like 9 or 10 stations in like 7 different states or something like that.
Right
so
on. Heck yeah. So what's your top track on that? On
like
list?
My personal favorite?
Yeah, your personal favorite.
My personal favorite is probably Where We've Been. It's the opening track on there. That was the funnest to record and write, and probably the most personal story on there.
Yeah.
And that one's just a blast, man. It's really a good high energy song to start off the project. But I like them all.
Right on.
Of course, obviously they're all my babies. So I won't be offended if you say I don't like it, because it's all subjective. So you don't like it, you don't like it.
Heck yeah, man. I have to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
We'll drop a link to that down in the description of the video as well. So make sure you go down there and check that out. And also tell us where people can find out all about you. Your Facebook, social media stuff. Where do you do most of your posting?
Yeah, so most of my posting is going to be Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
So Instagram is the Dakoda Rollins, and then TikTok is Dakoda Rollins Music.
Cool.
And TikTok's kind of fun because I get to interact a little bit more on there, and I do a lot of like just as a country artist, just personal opinions, because I see a lot of people who are casual listeners being like, these are my top artists, or these are the songs I think are the greatest, and I'm like, oh, let me chime in.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that on there too, and that's a fun way to engage with the community and kind of
is.
just talk shop. So because I'm also a fan too, so
that's actually how we met, right?
Was it
TikTok Live?
TikTok, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just scrolling and popped up.
Yep.
And I said, let me get shot down by this guy.
And now you're here. Not getting shot down. So.
But yeah, no. So those are I'm heavy on those two things. Facebook, not so much. But Instagram and TikTok, you can find me, and I love interacting, and I love posting stuff on there. So
cool beans. We'll drop a link to that in the comments or in the description of the video too. So make sure you go check that out. Give Dakoda a follow, and go check out his music on all the streaming platforms.
All streaming platforms, and we're going to be releasing some stuff hopefully in the late summer if we can get the engineer to wake up a little bit. But yeah, there should be another project coming out, definitely before winter. So.
Sounds good, man. We'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me, man.
No problem. Thank you, sir.